Are we rolling? Yep. Okay, we are now rolling. So we're going to go ahead and start on my right, your left. Go ahead and 30 seconds, please, for your bio. All right. Now, be aware that we do have listeners at home, so make sure you push the button in front of you before you talk. Make sure you preface your answer, every answer, with your name.
I'm Carolyn Goodman, and I'm very honored to be here in front of you all. It has been long overdue for veterans to get their time in life and be honored the way they should be. My father served in the Army, my brother-in-law in the Korean War, and as a frogman, my son is a retired major in the Marine Corps. I am passionate about the underserved veterans and have generally many ideas about what I might do to help our veterans in this community. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Marlene Rogoff. I've been a realtor for decades, a member of the Greater Las Vegas Association of Realtor and the Political Affairs Committee. Several years ago, I had a radio show on KLAB called All About You, and I also was a director of the Spring Mountain Ranch Homeowners Association, a secretary on the Tool Springs Preservation Society at a time it was in transition from the state to the city. And also, going way back, I trained as a clinical psychologist. Yes.
No, that was time. It was 30 seconds, remember?
I worked in a veterans hospital as an intern, and when people were coming back from the Vietnam War, I was one of the people as a psychologist there.
Okay. Thank you. 30 seconds.
Hi, I'm Duke Bruer. I've been living here for 6 years. I originally was at a manufacturing company for 25 years, so both domestic and import. I was in the commercial real estate business, and I had some fairly productive ideas which time will not allow me to present at this time, or in the future. Thank you.
Make sure you push the button.
My name is Victor Chaltiel.
Push it again. Push it again.
Push it again. My name is Victor Chaltiel, and I want to be mayor of the city for only one reason: to give back to my country, which has given me so much over 38 years. I am a French citizen originally. I came to this country to attend the Harvard Business School. I've been chairman and chief executive officer of many companies, large, listed in the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, and small startups right here in Las Vegas. And I can tell you, if I was younger, I would join the army to give back to my country. So I want to thank you for fighting for freedom and for putting your life at stake to defend the freedom that I'm looking in this country. And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was born in Provo, Utah, moved to Idaho in the 6th grade, and joined the United States Marine Corps Reserve in high school. I took the USMC option at the University of Idaho, ROTC. I majored in business. I graduated from officers training at Quantico, Virginia, and was given an honorable discharge as a first lieutenant executive officer of a 155 howitzer battery. I have held positions with Dun & Bradstreet, Safeco Insurance, Grubb & Ellis before going to Boise State University to earn a teaching certificate. I taught at Capitol High School for 29 years. I purchased a farm, raised cattle, alfalfa, and grain. Upon retirement, I moved to Las Vegas. I am dedicated. Finished? Thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
30 seconds.
Yes, my name is Ed Uehling. I moved to Southern Nevada in 1943 with my family when I was 3 years old. And some of the happiest times of my life during the 40s was when my uncles would come home from the war. I don't know where they would come from, but they were serving in the war. And one of them received the Congressional Medal of Honor. Another uncle was in the campaign in Africa. And I graduated from Boulder City High School and have traveled all over the world since then.
Good afternoon, my name is Katherine Duncan. and I came to Las Vegas on 7/7/77. I was lured here by my sister Faye, who was married to a serviceman at Nellis Air Force Base, and my sister Eva Duncan, who was working at the Nevada test site. I got a picture from Eva when I was in Boston in February. She had just bought a new car, and she was wearing a halter top, and I just couldn't wait to get to Vegas. And when I got here and I found that there was no mosquitoes, I thought I had reached the promised land. Now Vegas was very prosperous, and I want to bring that prosperity back to Las Vegas.
I'm Steve Ross, running for mayor. I am also the current city councilman representing Ward 6 in the great northwest part of our great city. I was born and raised here in Nevada. I've raised my 5 children here. Currently they're raising their 6 children. I have 6 grandchildren. I've worked all my life here, swinging a hammer since I was 14 years old. I'm still working 2 jobs today. I work 2 jobs to help my family survive. I've worked 2 jobs to get my way through college, and I'm still working 2 jobs today.
Good evening, Chris Giunchigliani, look for the longest name on the ballot. I am running for mayor, and I've been privileged of having your endorsement every time I've run, so I do want to say thank you. I'm running for mayor because I want to build a community and neighborhood at a time. My background is my grandfather came here from Italy. He fought in World War I. My father fought in Korean War. My brother-in-law was in the Gulf War. I absolutely respect and am privileged to have and want to say thank you for those of you that have served in the armed forces. That said, you're part of a community, and that's what I want to build. I want to bring back economic development and jobs. I want to rebuild neighborhoods. I want to make sure that we rethink government, and I want to make sure that public schools have a place with business. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Larry Brown. I am the son of a Navy lieutenant commander. I came to Las Vegas after graduating from Harvard University with a degree in government. I signed a professional baseball contract. 1983 brought me to Las Vegas. I have 3 born and raised Las Vegan children, and certainly want to thank Veterans in Politics for the opportunity this evening to let the candidates share some of their opinions. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tim Gamble. I am running for mayor here in Las Vegas. I have, for the last 10 years, been serving communities in Southern California, Central Texas, and now Southern Nevada as an emergency medical technician. I have had the privilege now to become a gaming employee right here in Southern Nevada. I have graduated from several programs out of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, as well as several other disaster management programs and courses, including Texas A&M Teaks Engineering Extension. I am running for Las Vegas mayor because I feel, just as the other candidates do, Las Vegas is a special place. One that we can bring back a great community, a great prosperity, and a great leader of the national economy again. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Veterans in Politics for having us. My name is George Harris. I am a veteran. I served in the United States Army. My father served in the Army. My brothers all served in the Army. I own a restaurant in downtown Las Vegas called Mundo, a culinary hotspot. We employ 93 people, and during the show, we can swell up as much as 140 people. I'm here because I'm running for mayor to create jobs and try to get us out of this economic mess we're in. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to any of your questions. Thank you.
Patrick, you want to start?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Patrick Llewellyn with Veterans in Politics. I would like to start with you, Mr. Harris. I have a biased opinion on this question. I'm in the green energy business. Las Vegas receives more sunlight than, there's only 2 cities in the United States that receives more sunlight than Las Vegas for towns with 40,000 people or more. The other is Phoenix, and the other one is Yuma, Arizona, which is not a real ideal place to live. Any ideas any of you may have for bringing the solar industry to a level that we can employ literally thousands of Las Vegans and save the city literally millions of dollars in energy costs? Mr. Harris.
Okay. Well, solar energy is already here. It's going to continue to grow as other industries within that industry grow, nanotechnologies, and it's going to be a natural evolution to take place. The government needs to make the atmosphere culpable for everybody to come in and do their business. and make sure that regulation does not stifle business like the problem we have right now. That's probably a larger part of our problem with job growth, is that people just don't want to take the risk because the risk and reward is not as healthy as it should be. As you know, in Boulder City, they have probably the largest generating plants, I think, on the West Coast now. Are we going to become a manufacturing mecca for photovoltaic? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. You know, they tried it here, and the company that was here is no longer here. So I would like to see that happen again. But it's going to take investment, and it's going to take government getting out of the way. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Harris.
I think one of the biggest things that we can do here in Las Vegas is really become a middleman to foster the growth. Here in the city of Las Vegas, we are kind of at a real estate premium at this point. We do get enough sunlight in the area to set up a solar field. I grew up not far from a solar field outside of Southern California, outside of Kramer Junction. Took up a very large amount of real estate, and that's something that, unfortunately, within the city we don't have. I think we can foster the relationships with the county and the state and get them to open up some of the lands that they have. The county has been trading with the BLM with lands for development. We can actually open those up to solar fields if we need to. It's just a matter of fostering those growths, maintaining those relationships, and showing people that Las Vegas needs this type of business and this type of energy to come here, so that we can continue to support one of our larger economic powerhouses.
Larry Brown, agree that solar is here. Both the city and the county have some wonderful demonstration projects going. The Southern Nevada Water Authority over at the Springs Preserve, and some of the major plants. But it's not just solar. I think the state of Nevada is the perfect state for the solar, the geothermal, the wind, so we can become the leading state in this nation as far as these next generation energy technologies. What government needs to do is, and this is federal, state, and local, is to create the incentives, to create the land availability, tax rebates, hiring local worker incentives. So government becomes the welcoming committee, and then you'll get that private sector investment. And the private sector will invest in the state of Nevada as long as they have that feeling that they're welcome here in our state.
Thank you. Chris Giunchigliani. I actually wrote the legislation that created the photovoltaic law and the certification in the state of Nevada back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Part of what we were trying to do is look at renewables completely. I think everybody recognizes we need the distribution model, which is what LS is working on with NV Energy, so that we can transport geothermal from northern Nevada, get our photovoltaic, move it north, and then wind is best actually in Uehling and Searchlight. We don't have the right kind of wind to actually do the wind generation here in the southern part of the state. That said, we have to look at R&D, make sure they're capitalized. That's what happened to the first company that went under. They didn't have enough capital to be able to do that. We have to make sure the government gets out of their way. And one way that you do that, something I'm working on, I actually had sightings done by staff on what would be the most appropriate places in southern Nevada for solar and photovoltaic, especially thermal, we just don't have the water for. But also then bring in developers, manufacturers, and the conservation community to site those properly so we're ahead of the game instead of waiting until somebody files a permit and gets the project hauled up. So I took the lead, and I plan on continuing to do that. Thank you.
Steve Ross, and in the city of Las Vegas, we're doing that today. You can drive around anywhere throughout the city of Las Vegas and see several of our fire stations and several of our recreation centers already moving forward with solar voltaic projects on carport additions, which is quite significant. Now, we've gotten that funding from different sources. The taxpayer's not completely paying for that. And our payback is in about 12 to 14 years. I think what you hit on, though, is the jobs portion of this, and that's the most important thing. And I don't want you to lose sight in regards to just solar jobs, but I want you to think about solar manufacturing projects as well. Recently, a company by the name of Aminex moved into the city of North Las Vegas, creating a couple of hundred of jobs. Those are good paying, skilled jobs. And we certainly have the right labor here in Southern Nevada to not only do the manufacturing, but certainly the installation of. I think Southern Nevada is on the cusp of being that energy mecca that can provide energy throughout the West Coast. And I'm really excited about it.
My name is Katherine Duncan, and I've been involved in the green energy business for quite some time, having been the founder of the Las Vegas Green Chamber of Commerce as a way to bring all of the green resources together in Southern Nevada because they were really scattered. I have been working, attending meetings with Senator Horsworth with the SNEC where there's plans to build a sustainability center in North Las Vegas. I've also been working with the International Air Science and Education Foundation to establish a green business incubator. One of the challenges they have is they've actually built, these guys went to the moon, and this is NASA, and they built a wind turbine in their garage, but our county building codes won't allow them to put the wind turbine on their roof, so that really needs to be looked at. One of the things we really need to do is to train local people. Not only do we need to do outreach, but we need to train local people on how to build solar panels and install them. But before we can go and put solar panels on all the roofs in the city, we need to first look at how to button up our buildings. 65% of our energy use is on inefficient buildings. I can't find how much the city spends on energy use. I couldn't find it in the whole 141-page budget. But I bet you if we took some of our capital budget right now and fixed every building in the city, we could stop that $12 million shortfall that we have in the budget. And again, green energy, green business is not just solar. It's about how we handle our waste, how we grow our food, our transportation system, energy conservation, and energy manufacturing.
Yes, my name is Ed Uehling. Does your question refer to the solar industry receiving some kind of credits or special advantages or subsidies?
Any incentives that would foster and promote not only solar, but thermal and wind energy as well?
I see. Well, my view is that that the most important thing that we have to do is build the industry that we have in the city. We have the best industry in the entire world. We have a literal monopoly in the entire world on the Las Vegas experience. And there are literally at least 1 billion people in the world who want to come here and spend their money here in Las Vegas. We have to figure out a way so these people can get visas to come into this country and shower us with money. The foreign visitors spend much more than the domestic visitors, and once we get this flood of money, and I'm talking about tens of billions of dollars, I'm talking about doubling and tripling our economy just by doing this one step. With that money, we can create anything we want. Now, specifically, as far as subsidizing businesses, I'm against that. I think that businesses should live by the marketplace. The government has no place in taking money from someone and giving it to someone else. This should be a market activity, and solar is a very good idea here in Southern Nevada because when the sun is shining is when we need the air conditioners working, and that's the greatest use of energy. So that sort of thing is compatible. The reason that, one of the reasons solar isn't being built here, from what I understand, is it costs $42 an hour. The prevailing wage here in Nevada is $42 an hour, in Arizona it's $14 an hour. And if you have money to build a solar plant, where are you going to build it? In Nevada or in Arizona? That's an easy choice.
Larry Jeppesen, I'm really glad you asked me that question. Every morning I get up and I get into my NEV. Do you know what an NEV is? A neighborhood electric vehicle. I have a golf cart. It's called a GEM, and it runs on batteries, and so it can be licensed as a street legal vehicle. Every morning I get up, I get in my NEV, and I drive up to Starbucks and have coffee with my group, and we talk about all kinds of things. And I'm a big proponent of driving electric vehicles, and the thing that I would do for solar right now, if I was the mayor, I would say, all these houses out there, you can't put them on because it's difficult. And the Nevada Power makes it so difficult to install solar on your roof. It's, as Ed says, it's too expensive. If we could some way make it less expensive, we could put solar on all the government buildings. We could put solar everywhere. When the professional politicians down here talk about solar and they talk about wind, I've lived in Nevada for 11 years and we have no wind farms. We have no wind farms. Senator Reid came out with a study and said there are hundreds of thousands of acres where you can put a wind farm. We have no wind farms. They're building wind farms all around us. Pickens in Texas. Texas looks like a windmill factory. What about Nevada? I'm for it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I think also, I drive an NEV. That's a neighborhood electric vehicle. And we have bike lanes. This is what I would like to have. I live at the corner of Rampart and Lake Mead. They're putting in a new shopping center called the Travolta or something like that down across the Sun Coast. There are bike lanes. So you mentioned Arizona. In Arizona, you can drive an NEV on any street 45 miles per hour and under. In Nevada, only 35 miles per hour and under. I would like to see the bike lanes widened so we could drive our NEVs in those bike lanes. And I would like to go down to the Sun Coast across the street because they're going to have a new Starbucks, and I'm a big fan of Starbucks in the morning. If you go to the DMV and you say you have an NEV,
Sir,
you know what they
sir,
say? Their
sir,
eyes glass over. Thank you very
Wind,
much.
solar, thank you.
My name is Victor Chaltiel, Victor for Las Vegas, and I'm a businessman, not a politician. There's a concept in business called best demonstrated practices, where you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Solar energy is ideal for our city, and I want to focus on your question, sir. And we have a great university here, which is one of the best research centers for solar. Some of you may have traveled to the Holy Land in Israel, and you will see every single building with solar, every single one. Most of their hot water is coming from solar. It can be done, it should be done, it will be done. We have to leverage our university here, which any great city must have a great university. I mean, why it was not done before? Only the Lord knows why, because I guess politicians are running the city, not businessmen. Look at what other people are doing, try to work with them, bring the technology, get the job done. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Duke. My plan is to make Las Vegas the alternative energy capital manufacturing of the United States. We should be manufacturing, and that way it would reduce the cost to us. We should have a task force of really sharp marketing people, which is no shortage in Las Vegas, and go out throughout the country and solicit people who do solar energy and have it manufactured here. We have everything, like everybody says, it's no secret. We have the weather, we have the long days, we have experienced people, we have housing, we have entertainment, we have food, we have no state taxes, no reason why we can't get these solar manufacturers in here to manufacture. We need a task force of real hard-headed people targeting this group. Can be done. Thank you.
My name is Marlene Rogoff. I have been working for the past several years as a consultant to companies for land development and solar. I worked for a company, and we're still working on it, to develop a 20-megawatt commercial solar generating facility in southern Nevada. I can tell you exactly where the bottlenecks and problems are from being inside this project. We have plenty of land. That's not the problem, okay? And the problem is twofold, and I have the financing from Europe, Germany, and Southern California. That is not the problem. We have companies that do the tax credits. We have solar experts, solar engineers. That is not the problem. As a matter of fact, I've just met with someone who has a new, cheaper technology for putting up what would be the solar collectors. I can tell you where the two problems are from the inside point of trying to put one of these things together. One is called the feasibility study, and I've been dealing with the state, which recently in 2011, there is a grant for the feasibility study, which you must have before you can get financing. Now, they will put up 25,000 for the size we're working on. It's 50,000, but now they want the company to put up the other half. Here's a problem, okay? So the company has the land, they're supporting the land and everything else. Now, the second problem, which is the big one, is selling the energy to energy companies at a price that will be competitive enough to make the project pencil out. And this is where the real sticking point is, because, and I've talked directly to electric companies, particularly the one in this area, you can sell it to them, or you can pay that company to go through their switching station to another electric company. Here's the problem. Oil is cheaper. Oil is cheaper, which they're using other methods to generate electricity. Solar is not competitive. So there's your problem. You have to have some kind of point that's going to equal the playing field, that solar energy is economically feasible to sell this to the power companies in competition with other energy sources. And this can be done through many ways that I could go into: incentives and taking away a lot of the government give-outs to oil companies and many other things. And I really don't have time to go into that, but I am actually knowledgeable in this area, and we need to bring it to Nevada. It's urgent. We need to get past the big sticking point, which is having it pencil out economically. I have all the players if we could get past this point.
Carolyn Goodman. Yes, I support solar energy development. I am for conservation of all natural resources, and I would absolutely have the government take a side seat to bring private industry in here, top engineers, top research, to see that all conservation that is possible in our communities will be developed. The mayor is the voice and face of Las Vegas, and as the mayor, it is up to the mayor to go out and find those types of companies that have been very successful around the world, not only in our United States, but around the world, to bring the top quality engineers, what's been proven in research to work the best. And that's where I would put my energy. I am all about conservation of natural resources for the future and for our children, grandchildren, and future generations. And yes, I would support the development of solar energy companies work here in Las Vegas.
Thank you. Now, we have one panel member that has been here all day, but he has not yet asked one question, and that's Mike McDonald. So we're going to go ahead and let him have one question to ask all of you, because we only have 13 minutes left out of this very long day.
And that's the reason they didn't give me my own microphone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that. You didn't realize that we didn't lead on, but you only gave microphone to Melody, so I couldn't ask a question over there. Thank you, Melody, for the microphone. Thank you for being home here today. I'd like to thank the panel. One of the questions, we hosted a neighborhood meeting last week, and we mentioned questions. And as many of you know, as walking around your campaigns, you know our neighborhoods are suffering, you know that your constituents are suffering, and you know that we're in peril of trying to find money. An issue came up at the neighborhood meeting that seemed to be pretty, it was a conference of 6 neighborhoods, and it came up as such. As utilities are going up, senior citizens, veterans seem to be one that are suffering the most, trying to provide for their families, and also for seniors trying to provide for themselves. As it goes up, there's also been news stories about Republic Services. Republic Services has been going to a recycling program. This clearly violates their contract, according to some experts on the line. Because what they're going to is once a week pickup rather than twice a week pickup, less service, more money. They've given it to home rule, I believe in North Las Vegas, Henderson, and such. Many constituents feel that this is a violation of the contract, looking at it to the experts of the attorneys and members of this board. Since they are only trash company, and they've merged with the largest trash company, as the next mayor, are you willing to maybe take a serious look at not only this, but also other utilities that seem to be going up in price and providing less services for our constituents? as we all start to suffer and we're finding coppers, we need to look that corporate America isn't always putting our communities first. And it's time to start. And I believe the next mayor has to be that voice and have the guts to maybe take a serious look at that. I would like to start with our elected officials first that are currently elected, and then respectfully go down the line.
What exactly is the question?
The question is this. Can you lower all our utility bills? Councilman. The main thing is this. It seems that Republic Services, just not picking on Republic Services, but they came up. They've gone to a recycling program which eliminates twice-a-week pickup. Right. They have a recycling pickup now. Right. Twice-a-week pickup, when it was voted on by the Clark County and all the cities, that was one of the main reasons we have twice-a-week pickup along with the recycling program. They're proposing now, it was on Channel 8 and I believe Channel 3, that they're only going to once-a-week pickup with a sidearm, which everybody's up here is talking about jobs. It eliminates jobs from the union, they're talking to Teamsters. And number two, it also seems to eliminate services, but we're all still paying the same price.
Let's talk about those jobs for a minute. Actually, I've worked with the Teamsters and had several discussions with them about those jobs. And actually, what I found out is it would actually create a few more jobs. The last thing we need is people unemployed and working on the streets. In regards to recycling, we are a poor city when it comes to our recycling efforts. The percentage of recycled materials is ridiculous. Recyclables is our commodity, and they sell that commodity once they bundle it up and package it up and sell it off to manufacturers of other products. I think the ideal situation, especially for the city of Las Vegas, we're growing up now. We're a big city. In other cities, especially the Northwest, where they have a lot of the, I don't mean to be derogatory, the tree huggers, they have these kind of recycling programs in place. I actually see more jobs being created, and I actually see less trucks on the road and less congestion on the road. And I see, when you talk about services, going down to once a week, and it's once a week trash, once a week recycling. People that I've talked to, and these programs have been instituted out in my ward, several pilot programs, and then all throughout the city of North Las Vegas, is they didn't really realize how much recycled material they could actually put in the recycle bin. Their trash is actually less, and the recyclables are more. So it's a culture change. It's a social change for us to get used to, because I've grown up here, and it's been twice a week trash forever in my life growing up here in the city of Las Vegas. So it's a change, and we have to get used to that social change and how we handle our trash if we want to be that green city that we're always talking about. I see more green jobs on the back end of the recycling program.
Chris Giunchigliani. Franchise agreements is what we're referring to as the contract, and a deal is a deal. Republic, formerly Silver State, made an agreement to keep the trash for 2 days a week and do not less than 2 weeks of recycling pickup. I believe we have to educate the public. I totally agree. That it's how easy it is. We need to get to single stream and do that by giving everybody a carton, but you don't take their trash pickup away because they got the price, they got the deal, they got a CPI, they got 18% rate increase, they got an additional $1 a month per residence, per apartment complex, per small business, per large business that they've been collecting for 20 years to pay for recycling, yet we still have the exact same program in place today. Where is that money? So, while I'm an environmentalist, I recycle, I believe we need to make it simpler. So my bid and appeal to Republic has consistently been, let's make sure it works. Give everybody the carton or the rolling crate, keep the trash, leave that alone, because that's what they're already paying for. Stop pitting those two against each other. See what happens over a year period. If there's less trash, where there will be, then you come back and revisit. But you don't force it into people in Henderson and North Las Vegas. Some of them never had a right to vote. I hear from people in the HOAs because they have no place to move their cans. They're getting fined now. Government has a responsibility. When you let a no competitive bid out there and it gave all these extensions, a 35-year extension, then they got some benefits that were reaped that the public depends on. To get to the recycling, make it simple for people. You don't have to take their trash away to show them that it's simpler to do it in the recycling part of it. The jobs has not been proved out yet. Local 613 told me that's close to 300 jobs. We have not been able to get Republic Services to go on the record to absolutely guarantee that I will not lose jobs. These are living wage jobs. The other jobs that will be created are minimum wage jobs. And I don't think you want to trade those two out. And if you've never been inside that recycling plant, the smell, it's the toughest job out there, and those people are not making the money that they really should be. So there's a way to get a win-win out of this, but I don't think you fight over people's trash. You focus on making sure that we're above the 2% of recycling, which is all we've been doing in this valley for the last 20 years.
Larry Brown. I think with Republic Services, we have, as far as the services they offer, the frequency, and their monthly rates, I think we have a very competitive franchise agreement, especially when you compare it to the Southwest. But the critical piece at the end of the discussion is what the customer wants. I think it's important that if we're going to change this, and everybody wants to increase recycling, which is single digit right now, and move to that, but it has to be at the convenience and have no adverse impact on the customer. And I think we certainly can pilot these programs, but in no neighborhood or no jurisdiction should we force this onto the community. And we, as the electeds, do have control over that franchise agreement. So at the end of the discussion, we have to make sure that if they're going to move to a different service level, then the cost is not going to increase, or there may be a cost savings to the customer. And just briefly, on those other utilities, which I think are just as important when you're talking about the veterans and the seniors on fixed incomes, be it water or gas or power, we have to make sure, especially as a local government, that the programs are in place to help those people, that vulnerable population. And there are some great programs in existence as far as going in and doing energy efficiency studies within the home at no charge. The water district has rebate programs. Those are the type of programs, our job is to get those programs into the hands of the customer to make sure they can mitigate the utility bill, because inevitably utility bills will rise.
My name is Victor Chaltiel. I want to comment on this. I want to say, as a businessman, not a politician again, that I totally agree with Commissioner Brown. We seem to forget that the business is to service customers and families, like 3 children, young children, born and raised in Las Vegas, and it's a lot of garbage, guys, and you've got to make it very simple for the family to handle this. They want to recycle, the children want to do this, they want to participate in the program, but I totally agree with Commissioner Brown here. We have to remember that there's a customer here at the end, and that we have to be very, very friendly to this customer. Thank you.
I would like to speak next, if I may. I am totally against what everybody has said so far. My name is Marlene Rogoff. I have many years in business and management. Here's the problem, and this is why government is not functioning for its citizens, for its residents, or efficiently. Other cities in every neighborhood, and some are at the local grocery stores, you can take your bottles and all of those recyclables, and you get paid for them in many states, 5 cents a bottle or whatever. This is economic motivation for people to come, take their recyclables, take them to a local, in their neighborhood, every neighborhood, and get paid for these. This is efficient. So for the idea of paying a company, whoever it may be, to pick up these recyclables in boxes makes no economic sense whatsoever. I also have this on my website, www.friendsofmarlene.com, M-A-R-L-E-N-E. It's on your one of many new revenue services that I advocate for bringing revenue to the city and not raising taxes. People are suffering already from many of these taxes and just struggling to get by. And this is just one area where I differ from the politicians sitting in office who are not looking at the bottom line of running the city efficiently, just like a business should be. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take back control. Who, raise your hand if you have not yet answered this question.
And there's two down here, Mr. Chair.
6, 7. Okay. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna start, we wanna start on the right or start on the left?
Start on the left.
Start on the left, okay. We're gonna do it in an orderly military fashion, because this is veterans in politics.
I give
So,
up. I
start
give
on the
up.
left.
Okay.
On over to the right.
Personally, having lived in the same house for the past 35 years in the city of Las Vegas in Ward 1, I've been extremely satisfied with the courtesy and the fine service we've gotten. However, this entire country was built on competition. And I don't know, because I don't sit on the council and I'm not a commissioner, I'm not in government, but my first thing would be to bring in the authority from Republic, bring them to the table, talk perhaps about getting our senior citizens and our vets with fixed incomes for the senior citizen, perhaps a coupon or a way to discount their service. That would be something I would want to dialogue with them to see if it would be possible. Again, to the idea of competition, monopoly has been proven in most instances not to work best for the consumer. And I think where there's a dialogue to make sure that we're getting the bang for the buck is very, very important, and competition is very healthy. But again, I will say I've been extremely satisfied with the service from the public. They've been wonderful. Clean up after themselves. If you live in New York City, where I used to, half the trash is still on the street. Here in Las Vegas, at least opposite UMC, it's clean, and I thank you.
I'll be brief. If we care just about ourselves and our current generation, the same thing is going to happen when the politicians and everybody else is just going to talk about it. If we really care about our children and our grandchildren, we'll do something about it. All the rhetoric and all the bull would be gone. We do it because we care about them. But who said weed is good? Thank you.
Larry Jeppesen. You know, I don't have any trouble with garbage. They pick up my garbage, it's just fine. So I want to use this time to talk about something else. The lady down here on the left said oil is cheaper than solar. Let me tell you something, man. Oil is not cheaper. 20% of the federal government's defense budget goes to support the Mideast and ocean lanes for oil transport. All those Marines, wounded, killed, and crippled, support your gasoline in your car. If you don't think it's more expensive for oil, I want you to get up from here and go visit a VA hospital. You look at those people with one arm, one leg, one eye, whatever. Oil is not cheaper. Oil is more expensive. I have no problem with garbage. My problem
So that's off question.
is with the firemen. Why won't we investigate and audit the Las Vegas City firemen? The people down here, the professional politicians, they sign these contracts, they don't read these contracts, every one of them. Mrs. Goodman's husband, to the other end, have all signed these contracts. They've never read the contracts, they've never looked at the contracts, they just sign off on the firemen's contracts. And we are, every one of you sitting there,
Okay,
is
sir.
worried about the veterans who are getting taken.
Sir, that was way off question. So, we're going to continue on this.
I don't have any problem.
We're going to continue on this.
Yes, my name is Ed Uehling. The basic problem here is that while the private sector is going into bankruptcy, we've lost 75% of the value of our properties. We have tens of thousands of foreclosures. We've had our wages reduced. We have 200,000 people unemployed. Well, all this is happening. The public sector is in a totally different situation. Almost no unemployment. The cost of government is actually going up during this recession. And all the agencies that the government supervises, their costs are going up. For example, in the last meeting of the county commission, the commissioners approved an increase in the airport fees for rental fees in the airport from $91 per square foot per year to $116 per square foot per year. The water company has developed a monstrous empire and is now charging us additional $16 million additional because we're conserving too much, because they have too many employees.
So
now let me just
public
talk for a
services,
minute
sir.
about Republic.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we're on target.
But in general, anything that the public supervises, the cost goes out of control. And with regard to Republic, I went to the hearings for Silver State back in the 92, 93, where we were complaining because the commission would not enforce the law, would not enforce the contract, wherein the Republic promised to do recycling. This has already been decided in the contract. Not Republic, but Silver State at that time. Ever since Republic has gotten this contract, which was handed to them without any competition or anything, ever since they've gotten it, they've done nothing but complain about the contract. They have one problem after the other, and they just keep coming for benefits. They increase their rates. They increase them in very secret ways, like, I don't know if you're aware, but now they'll only pick up 5 bags, whereas before they would pick up 15 bags. That's a 300% increase, just like that. They doubled their fees a couple of years ago for carrying garbage to the centers where they pick up the trash. Mr. McDonald, I think you had a major role playing as in acting as a lobbyist for the trash company in extending their contract for 20 or 30 years. This outrageous contract, the county gave. Okay, excuse me, am I wrong?
No, you're always a lobbyist, sir. No, go ahead. You're right. Go ahead, though. I'm not a lobbyist, sir. I wasn't a lobbyist.
Well, that extension of that contract was just outrageous. This county handed over them the best dump in the entire probably in the entire United States. Just gave it to them for nothing. A dump worth billions of dollars that is just being handed over to this company. And what does this company constantly do? We want more. We want more. Well, Republic, if you want more money, you just open a casino. If all you're interested in doing is hauling out money out of this place, open up a casino. And with their bad service, their casino will last about 5 minutes. I'm interested in creating billions of dollars for this economy, and it's very simple. If the United States government just gets out of the way of people coming to this country, billions of dollars will come in here. It will solve every issue that we can dream of. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Katherine Duncan, and we have such a tremendous opportunity to provide jobs if we handle our waste differently. Currently, we're only picking up about 20% of our waste. So there's an additional 80% commodity that we could be getting to the market. Even the 20% that we're now collecting, we don't have a remanufacturing facility here in Las Vegas. We're shipping that to Utah and to California. So there is an opportunity for us to attract or even help a local company build a remanufacturing facility here in Las Vegas. So the opportunities are in aluminum, plastic, paper, and metal. And again, we could establish buyback centers throughout the city of Las Vegas so that everyone could take their recyclables back to where they purchased them. That's an immediate opportunity and could put money in your pocket. Now, Mr. McDonald, you also asked about utilities. One of the things the city could do is to establish an energy trust fund. If we could make $25,000 available at a low interest loan to every Las Vegas resident to fix up their buildings, that would be a huge opportunity for us. That would put every carpenter, every electrician, every plumber, our air conditioning technicians, and our landscapers immediately to work. And it's about jobs. So if every building, every residential building in Las Vegas had a residential energy upgrade, that would put all of our building trades immediately back to work. So all the city would have to do is establish this energy trust fund, and for the people who don't want to borrow money, we have already a rebate program, but the residents don't know it's available. We have a $5 million fund set up for anyone who wants to upgrade their home, and that money is immediately available to them now. have, but the education, getting this information out to the people is not there. So instead of legalizing prostitution in Las Vegas, like some of our panel wants to do, the goal is to educate people in the city, let them know how they can now fix up their homes to put money immediately in their pocket by saving money on these very, very high utility bills.
Hi, Tim Gamble. Real quick, because I'm sorry. Would you please give me a question?
The question's pretty basic. Councilman Brown it basically was in a contract that was voted on, and this kind of goes with what you're saying. Contract that was voted on, so we have twice-a-week pickups. That was the contract that was voted on, and it was basically not just for public services, but all utilities. As the bills go up, we're getting less, it seems we're getting less services. Many of you are running around on jobs. That's a concern for the unions. So the main thing was, would you be willing to look at an overall bill that was voted on? We're getting less service, and the constituents, some of the constituents have an issue with it. Would you be willing to open it back up and make competitive bids, or find a way to help our citizens fight their bills?
Well, absolutely. You know, what it comes down to is a deal is a deal. And the previous city councils, previous county commissions have negotiated out these contracts with somebody like Public Services. And this is what we've agreed on. This is what we expect. If you're going to provide less service, then we need a cost break in this for the consumer, or we need to actually consider, you know, doing something on the back end of this towards the consumer cost. There is no reason why we should be paying the same amount for less service. It's asinine, and it's not something that any corporation or any consumer should be putting up with. Opening up to competitive bids, that's a way to scare them back into providing the service that we want, and that's a way to scare them into providing these services for the price we want. I think that's probably the key to making sure that stays at the same level, if not better, throughout the future.
George Harris. It's a pretty easy thought process. I keep hearing a deal's a deal, but there's no deal when one side is breaching their fiduciary agreement. Listen, I've told everybody since I started to run for mayor, everything's on the table. Everything. Contract, whatever it is. And government can change any contract. And the people who put us into this contract ought to be ashamed of themselves. If you voted for it, you may not have understood the unintended consequences. But the facts are that we have multiple casinos here, and they all seem to survive. We got thousands of doctors here, and they all seem to survive. So I think it's okay that competition is good. Maybe we should have 2 or 3 trash companies. Because I can tell you right now, if I went out to the college and told all these college kids, hey, contracts are going to come up where you guys can do a recycling program, you would find a bunch of entrepreneurs to figure out a way to get people involved in recycling their garbage. Because they would drive to their house and say, give me all your cans, all your bottles, everything there is, I'll pay you half, you give it to me, I'll give you half of what the going rate is, and that's how I'm going to make my living. And that's what we should be doing. That's going to spur a bunch of jobs. The other utility companies, this is what government does, guys. When government gets involved, they slow the train down to a halt, and that's why you have all these problems. Competition breeds nothing but goodness. And the guys that can't survive die. I've died a couple of times. But I'm like a phoenix. I get up and I come back out of the ashes. And that's what you have to do. So I would look at reviewing all regulations within the city first and foremost, and all budgets first and foremost in the city. And then I would look at all outside contracts, and I would review all outside contracts. And if the people were not providing the services that they agreed to, we'd suspend the contract and open it for bid again. And that's the smartest thing you could do for the citizens, and it's the right thing to do for the citizens. Thank you.
Okay, we are 15 minutes over time. Now, I remember that there are 2 candidates that have something at 5:30. Well, there's parking meters.
You guys know somebody that can help you?
So we're now just on video. We're not on the internet anymore. So this will all be on YouTube. And like I said before, if you have anything you want to add, what you are going to say, because I'm going to give every single one of you 45 seconds, okay, to close out. And I'm sticking to that 45 seconds just like I did with the 30 seconds in the beginning. Go ahead and go to the Veterans in Politics Facebook page and add to the YouTube. They should be up in about a week. week or two. So you'll be able to add whatever comments you would like. It was you, Commissioner, and you had to be somewhere at 5:30? 5:30? So we have 5:30, 5:30, and you have 5:30 as well. Okay, well, let's go ahead and, who wants to, you have a 5:30 as well? Okay, so we have 2 over here and 2 over here that have to be out at 5:30. So, and they're all ladies, so which lady would like to go first?
There's one that hasn't started first.
I would like to go first.
Okay. You can push a button now.
I think it's on. Oh, no, it's not. You're right. My name is Marlene Rogoff, and I have been inside the foreclosure issue and seeing the pain, the suffering, the destruction of families and neighborhoods. And I noticed the statistic is 43% of veterans either been foreclosed upon or losing their homes. They're coming back. They're having a very hard time getting jobs. And I am one of the people who's ready to step up to the plate as mayor of the city of Las Vegas. And I said this before, it's my first act to get the council with me to pass an ordinance following what the mayor of Philadelphia did that stops all foreclosures right up to the day before the sale. It's on my website, friendsofmarlene.com, and the radio interview on knpr.org, which is posted. Thank you very much.
Carolyn Goodman. I am passionate about better service for our veterans. It's long overdue. This has been something I've been passionate about for years. I am terribly concerned about the veterans that are homeless. They should be our first sight. I want to increase the services that are provided not only to the homeless vets, but to all the vets. Provide home financial support, free education for higher education or technical training. I want to improve upon the medical care for our veterans. And I know one way that it can be done, because I have done it in the private sector and the nonprofit sector. I want to increase the grant writing that is going on in City Hall, and especially to get help from the federal government in serving our wonderful people who've kept this country free for all of us in the future generations. Thank you very much for having me tonight. I am most grateful.
Thank you. My name is Katherine Duncan, and I have a 4-year platform. However, I'll be brief in that my program is not a program that I developed. This is a program that came from the people of Las Vegas. I started the Ward 5 Chamber of Commerce because I was a successful business person and we were concerned about the inner city. So we had neighborhood focus groups, stakeholder groups, forums at the university to figure out what to do about the inner city. And we've discovered a plan that will not only fix the inner city, but it's also good for all of Las Vegas. It involves our recycling program, which we touched on, retrofitting and weatherizing our homes, eradicating homelessness, especially among veterans, fixing the foreclosure crisis, making sure the redevelopment agency funds, taxpayer funds, go to hire people in Las Vegas, and bringing in a new type of tourism to Las Vegas, cultural tourism. We would start inviting in, can't finish? Okay. I'm Katherine Duncan.
Thank you. And when you're done, you can go ahead and you can leave. I know you guys are going to somewhere. So don't forget, you can add what you needed to finish up on the YouTube video.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Giunchigliani. I want Las Vegas to be on the cutting edge of new technology, green technology, and job growth so that working men and women can go back to work. I want Las Vegas to be a place where people can retire with dignity and a sense of security. I want Las Vegas to be a better community than what it is now. And I want people to gather together to rebuild and revitalize our older neighborhoods and protect and maintain the current neighborhoods. I want us to have a sense of community service again that we have lost in Las Vegas, I believe. And finally, I want to be your mayor because I believe that I bring the skills and the techniques to be able to deal with economic development and jobs, revitalizing neighborhoods, rethinking and cutting the red tape in government, and making sure that we have a strong educational system so that we can build our jobs. I want to be your mayor. I hope for your vote and your endorsement. Giunchigliani, thank you very much.
Okay, so now all the ladies have gone, so it's the guys' turn. So, starting on my left, your right, Let's go ahead and start that way, because it's easiest to digress afterwards, so that way people don't have to push chairs in and everything. So we'll start over with Duke.
I'm Duke. Hi. I don't know why we don't have the income in lottery. Las Vegas spend millions of dollars traveling.
The YouTube video.
Oh, thank you.
I am Steve Ross, and also thank you very much for all of you doing this and taking your time to do this. All of the ideas and things we discussed tonight are certainly battered around. Nothing is more important than jobs. For veterans, for anyone. Nothing's going to work. Nothing's going to happen in our neighborhoods. Nothing's going to happen with recycling. Budget issues aren't an issue when no one's working. The biggest and most important factor in this campaign today and for the city of Las Vegas is people need to go to work. And I won't rest until the 50,000 unemployed Las Vegans are back to work. Thank you.
Okay. You're next.
Larry Brown. Thank you again to Veterans in Politics for providing this wonderful opportunity for all the candidates, or just about all the candidates, to come down and express their views. I'm running for the mayor of Las Vegas to make a difference in our community at a time when we're facing some of the toughest challenges in Las Vegas history. And I personally am up to that challenge. I would ask those to look at my record, the results I've produced, and my leadership positions in this community, my experience, my knowledge that I bring to the table, and certainly my leadership, knowledge, and experience with the city of Las Vegas make me the right candidate for the mayor of the city of Las Vegas at the present time. And thank you once again for this opportunity.
Hi, Tim Gamble. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you too. This is a wonderful thing for democracy for us to be able to do, that you guys have provided us that ability. I'm running for mayor because I am here for community service. It's nothing new to me. It's something I've been doing in communities for the last 10 years. The fact of the matter is, no one person is going to be able to solve all the problems. They're going to have all the answers to our economic crisis and our problems. We have a lot of them. People want to talk about skyrocketing utilities, gas prices, everything else. No one person's going to have the solution. No one person's going to have the answer. But I will work to find those answers. I will work to find the committees, to create the forums, to bring those answers to life. I think it's time Las Vegas stopped asking every